What's good, everybody? Welcome to another episode of The Ride with Under. Now we're doing things a little bit different today. We're moving away from reviewing cars and we're talking consumer advice, things you should look out for when you're buying a used car. I'm going to share 5 top things you should look out for when you're buying a used car, and also things that you shouldn't do when you're buying a used car. Stick around. Okay, now before we get into this video, if it's your first time checking it out, please make sure that you subscribe to the channel. Please make sure you leave us a comment. Ask us anything. If there's any questions that you possibly have with regards to used cars or any cars in general, drop us a comment below. We'd love to know what you guys think. Now, if you're in the market for a car in general, it doesn't have to be a used car, it can be any car. The dilemma that you're possibly facing is that, do you go new, or do you go pre-owned, or do you go used, right? Now, there are pros and cons of going either way. I'm going to give you 5 things that you need to look out for when you're going out and buying a used car. Okay, number 1. This is perhaps the most obvious one, the cost-saving factor, right? Used cars are generally cheaper than new cars. That's a given, all right? But you also don't just save on the price of the car, you also save on the premiums when it comes to insurance, okay? Big saving there, naturally, because the car is cheaper, all right? So it's not just good in terms of new car saving, in terms of price, but you also save on the premiums of your insurance as well. But remember, with insurance, there's a number of factors that come into play. How long you've been having your driver's license, your driving habits, where you stay, etc., etc., etc. So there are also a few things that come into play. But generally, if the car is cheaper, the insurance premium will be a lot cheaper as well. Number 2, variety. Let's say, for instance, you've got 400,000 as a budget, all right? If you go to, let's say, one particular dealer that you like and you want a certain car, there isn't much variety probably with that 400,000, or you may find a car that fits in that budget but doesn't quite have the things that you want. Now you take that same 400,000 and you put it into the used car market, and all of a sudden you've got plenty of options, plenty of cars to choose from, maybe even the same brand that you were looking for, but now there's just different models and cars with better spec. So variety is certainly a big positive. Number 3, driving off in a car that's better than the car that you intended to buy. And of course, this relates to my previous point. So again, you get into this used car market with 400,000 and you were looking, let's say you were looking for an Audi or a BMW, right? But when you get there, 400,000, all of a sudden you find a good looking Merc, for instance, with great spec that's even better than the cars that you were looking for. So you end up driving off in a car that's better than the one that you actually intended to buy. A very big positive. All right, so number 4 is quality assurance. Now this applies if you're buying from a franchise or a reputable dealer. There are certain things that have to be in place for them to be able to sell these cars. Like, for instance, some of your premium brands will have to go through certain checks before they put their car on the stands, like 20-point checks. They have to check if the car has been in an accident and all those things. So all those boxes have to be ticked when or before they sell any car to the public. Now that is something that you can obviously bank on when you buy at a franchise or a massive reputable dealer. And number 5 is depreciation. How many times have you heard people crying about depreciation? Every single month, every single week. I've been in the industry for over 16 years and I hear the word depreciation all the time. Now, a new car can depreciate probably up to about 30% in the first 6 months of purchase. So going to buy a car that's maybe 2 to 3 years old, the depreciation is a lot less. So you're saving thousands and thousands of rands by going to buy a car that is 2 to 3 years in terms of the depreciation of that particular vehicle. Now, before you run off and go to your nearest used car dealer to buy a car, number 1, if you're buying a car that's a year old, so we are in 2022 now, and of course you're looking to buy a car that's just a 2021 model, for instance. Make sure that you pay careful attention to the price of the new car. Because of COVID, a lot of cars have gone up in terms of the price, and cars are scarce. So you'll find that the margin between a 2021 and 2022 is a lot smaller. So for instance, let's say the difference is 50,000 Rand or 100,000 Rand. That probably equates to around about 1,000 Rand a month when it comes to installment. Now, if that's the case, then you're better off going off and buying a new car. And also, talk to the dealers, because you may find that a new car will have what they call trade assistance or discount specials, or that will actually make that gap a little bit smaller as well. So don't be too quick to say, I want the used car before you've actually looked at what the new car costs. Number two, and this is what I always do, I always go to reputable or franchise dealers. I know that there are plenty of used car dealers around the country. There's hundreds of them, but I always prefer to go to a reputable or a franchise dealer. It's just peace of mind for me, because if something goes wrong in the process, or there's something wrong with the car, franchise dealers normally have systems in place, to deal with these things. You'll find that your query gets sorted out quicker. There's channels, and more often than not, you can actually talk directly to the head office. So I always recommend people to go buy at a reputable dealer or a proper franchise dealers. And what I mean by franchise dealer is that if you're looking for a VW, you go to a VW branch. If you're looking for a BMW, you go to a BMW dealer. But like I said before, there are other options, and I will get into some of the things that you must look out for going forward. Okay, number three, you've decided that you're going to buy from whatever dealer you're going to buy from, right? Make sure you do your due diligence. What do I mean by that? I mean, test driving the vehicle, touch, feel, bumps and seats. That's the most important aspect of buying a car. You have to get into the vehicle. You have to touch and feel the vehicle. I know sometimes it's not always possible. Maybe the vehicle is outside of where you stay, but where possible, try to always go and touch, feel, drive, look at the car, feel it, do whatever. Make sure you do your due diligence. And when you get there, ask questions. Ask questions about the history of the car. Ask questions about where the car comes from, how many owners, has it been in an accident, all those things. You need to ask those questions. Don't just be excited because you're seeing a car that fits in your budget. You need to make sure that you ask those questions. So do your due diligence before you go out and sign on the dotted line. Number four, always verify bank details. Now, I was a victim. I remember when I was buying a car, I was told that I have to put a holding deposit on this car because it's very scarce, blah, blah, blah. So I did that. The guy sent me bank details via text. I paid, I think it was 20,000 at the time. I paid that, and little did I know that I was paying it into his landlord's account, not the one of the dealer. And I found this out when I was changing to a different car, but within the same group. Then they sent me correct bank details. And I compared the two, and I said, listen, but I've already paid this X amount. So, and they're like, they knew nothing about that. So make sure that if you are told to pay anything, deposit, holding deposit, make sure you get a bank confirmation letter before you pay. And before you press pay, verify that it is in fact the right account. Very important. And lastly, make sure you read every single document that you are given, especially the financial documents. The finance documents, make sure you read every single thing. Don't just accept initial here, initial here, initial here, initial here. Make sure you go through it. I've been through so many cases where people didn't know that they had a certain product. People didn't know that they said yes to a certain insurance product, or they didn't know that they said yes to a balloon payment or the correct terms. Some people don't even know which bank actually financed them, which is actually quite mind-boggling. But anyway, make sure you go through everything, all right? There's no such thing as a standard contract. Go through every single item. If you don't understand something, ask the person that's signing you up to explain. That person's job is to explain every single item on that contract. So don't just be excited, oh, I'm getting a new car, balloons and music, it's nice, it's all smoky, it's all great. Make sure you read everything. And if you do that, you'll be saving yourselves thousands and thousands of brands. Also, just general peace of mind, knowing exactly what you're getting into. It's very, very important. Guys, I hope those tips will help you. If you have any questions with regards to buying used cars or buying a car, please drop me a comment below, and I will definitely answer as many as I possibly can, so that you guys can get some assistance when, because I mean, buying a car is a great experience. You shouldn't be worried about hidden clauses or stuff like that. Make sure that you know exactly what's going on. Like I said before, if you don't understand something, make sure you ask. Very, very simple. Thanks for watching, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed it. I'll see you guys again next time. Once again, please make sure you subscribe to the channel. Please make sure you leave us a comment, and also just share this to your friends as well. We'd love to get more people onto the channel as well when it comes to our viewership. We're trying to reach 1,000 subscribers this month of February, so help us out by just sharing it to your people as well. See you guys again next time. Cheers.